Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Professionally Unprofessional podcast. I'm joined once again by my good friends Reese from the middle and Elliot on the right.
Hello, everyone.
Well, happy back to work day.
Yeah, it's back. We're back to work from our Christmas break. Did you guys all have a good holiday?
Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
pretty
Thank you.
good. Kind of boring, honestly.
I spent most of my holiday trying to finish as much of Alan Wake 2 as possible for this.
I spent a lot of it playing Like a Dragon, Yakuza Like a Dragon, and Final Fantasy VII remake.
Oh, you've had a good holiday. So it's time to talk about 2023, the award, and give out our traditional end of year awards. Third time we've done this, and to give you an idea of taste, if you can't be bothered to go back and listen to those, Elliot in 2021 picked Tales of Arise, and in 22 he picked Elden Ring.
Yeah.
In 2021, Reese picked. I believe you picked. Did you pick Monster Hunter Rise in 21?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he did. I remember he did.
And you picked in 22. You picked Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Of course.
I picked Persona 5 Strikers in 2021, and I picked Xenoblade Chronicles 3 in 22.
Weeb.
Now I wonder this year, are we going to get a this year? I think it's going to be a bit of more of a mix and match. I actually checked my list. I only repeat awards on one game. Technically two, but one game gets multiple awards off me.
I did try not to have one game get too many awards. There are a number of repeats on mine.
I will say one game I really wanted to get on. There's a couple of games 2023 was such a good year. There was so many games I wanted to get on, and they didn't find a place.
Yeah, I think we talk about those, the honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I throw one out now that I know is not on either of your ones, but it will be on mine?
Yeah.
Theatre Rhythm Final Bar Line.
No, man.
Yeah, I haven't even played it. I keep forgetting that game came out.
It is so good, guys. I swear, especially now you got the free updates for the Final Fantasy 16 music.
Yeah, because it's kind of funny that it's Final Fantasy Rhythm Theatre, considering there's a lot of non-Final Fantasy stuff in there.
I will tell you right now, the hardest category in terms of the fact there wasn't much I really had to be happy about with it was Best Indie Game.
Yeah, not... This is probably the one year where we don't have an indie game that we're raving about.
Yeah, most of the indie games were like, to me, they were like, great. You didn't stick the landing.
With me, it's just, there's only one I can give, and I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this one.
As for me, one that's not on any of mine is Dead Island 2, which I would have loved to have given something, because that game is way better than I thought it would be.
Reese, off the top of your head, is there anything that on your list that you really wanted that you can't give anything?
Not really. I've pretty much got all the games I played this year on there, for better or for worse.
Okay, so we're going to do this in 5 awards at a time, and then we're going to do a discussion. So let's get the negative awards out of the way. We're doing so. Let's start. First award: worst company / publisher in terms of announcements and releases. What's the joke name for this one, Elliot?
Seriously Activision again award.
And does that set a tone for it? Elliot, where's your award going? If I need to ask.
Activision Blizzard.
Activision Blizzard. Reese.
I'm changing mine up. I'm going to go Bethesda this year.
Sacrilege.
Bullshit. And I'm going to add to Elliot's one Activision Blizzard.
The reason I didn't pick Bethesda is because, well, actually, we'll get into that when we talk about them. Sorry.
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush, Reese.
Yeah, I was about to say Hi-Fi Rush came out.
Yeah, but that doesn't discount what they've done with Starfield and how they've reacted to all the negative reviews.
I like Starfield, for the record.
But it did lead to the funny throwdowns rant.
That moron. Yeah. Biggest review mistake we made in... I'm saving worst for last, actually. I've changed my mind.
Yeah.
Biggest mistake we made in a review. Elliot?
The My Future Child award.
What did you gonna give it to?
Mentioning Danganronpa so often in my Master Detective Archives review.
Okay. Reese.
Might be the Dead Space remake review I did.
Oh,
I was too high on it, score-wise. It should have been in the 8s, just due to the sheer amount of bugs and glitches I found.
sorry, one sec.
Well, if Elliot can still hear us, my award.
I can, don't worry.
My award's going to go to I'm not scoring Redfall below 5 out of 10. I should have scored it lower.
Yeah. What did you score it again?
I think 5.2. I should have scored it lower than that. It's a dreadful experience, and even after playing after the update, it's terrible.
I mean, in all fairness, I make a habit of like sometimes over ranking things. Like, for example, Stranger of Paradise last year, I gave like a 6.8. In hindsight, probably should have given it lower.
Blandest game of the year.
The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten award.
Elliot, your score, your pick.
Forspoken.
Reese.
Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Oh yeah, I forgot you played that one.
I reviewed it.
When are you going to do the Avatar one as well? Originally.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but that was just like really negative reviews to come back on it.
Yeah,
I had better things to do over Christmas, and my award goes to Mortal Kombat 1. Biggest disappointment. Now, I will stress, me and Elliot both had ties for this one, so I don't know. Reese, did you get one definitive one?
Yes.
AKA the Brooklyn Nine-Nine Season 8 award.
Nice. The award goes to, Elliot?
Immortals of Avium and Infinity Strash, Dragon Quest The Adventure of Dai.
Reese?
Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp.
Oh, that was disappointment for you.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't pick, so my two awards going to Sea of Stars and Sonic Superstars.
Oh.
And time for worst game.
The Please Wrap It Up award.
Can I? Okay, here's what I'd like to say before we do this one. I
think do my one last this time because mine was pretty obvious.
Yeah, but I will stress, all three of us haven't played the Kong Skull Island game or the day before.
Or the Walking Dead one.
Yeah, I was about to say or the Walking Dead.
I forgot that one existed. Christ, I didn't play that one either. So, Reese, your award goes to
Mortal Kombat 1.
My award goes to Redfall.
And my award goes to, I didn't play Kong, I didn't play Walking Dead, I didn't play the day before, but do you know what I did play? Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Love it. So we'll start on, I think, a good one to start on in this conversation because it showed up way more than I thought it was going to. Mortal Kombat 1. One biggest disappointment for the blandest game for me. Worst for Reese.
Yeah. Just on my end, how broken the game was, how lacking of online features it has, because the online's still broken even now.
How is the online still broken?
Yeah, it's
I didn't even know Mortal Kombat was broken.
No, I struggled to get into any matches when I was playing it, and the controls are not very good. The story mode is boring beyond belief.
Yeah, it has a few characters.
I felt the story wasn't very good. From at least what I've heard with Yahtzee's review, it was like characters have a conversation, then fight for no reason.
Pretty much. They also they lowered the conversations before the fights. Like, you remember in Mortal Kombat 11, there's loads of
pre-fight banter.
Yeah. There's none of it in Mortal Kombat 1. It's all gone. It's not all gone, but it's like one line fight.
Yeah. Oh, so I hate how they removed the crypt and just had a basic shrine. Yeah. So they took all enjoyment out.
That is bollocks. And even when they brought in the DLC fights, like, I stayed for Omni-Man and that was it.
Yeah.
because I'm an Invincible fan, I don't care about Peacemaker. You obviously know I really don't care about Homelander coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, you're one of the few people out there who doesn't like The Boys.
I stand by it. I don't like The Boys. I think it's a really bad show. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's a bad show, but it's one that just is. It doesn't appeal to me in any way.
I think the way you described it is too dark for you.
Yeah, it is. It's too dark for the sake of dark, in my opinion, and that's like there's like one sequence I like in it, and that's about it. But
I mean, you're talking to someone who's obsessed with who thinks the darker the better. So
while we're on our worst games, Elliot, obviously Lord of the Rings Gollum, really bad game.
Oh my fucking god, where to begin? Well, for starters, I gave it a 1.2 on my review.
Oh dear.
And oh good god, it was generally one of the worst games I have ever played. It barely works. Like it's a stealth platformer that doesn't have good platforming. I've run into more soft locks than any other game. It crashed like 3-4 times on me. I've ran into glitches I had never encountered in any other game. Like it would, for example, when I would die, it would spawn me at a checkpoint ahead of when I died.
What?
And I saw other glitches, like for example, one of the rotating wheels rotating sideways. And I've seen ones like that of just holes in the earth, not like as a part of the environment. More just the game was so broken. There was holes that like made you fall through the map that you could actually see. I think, to put simply, we hate it. Swiftly cheating buttons.
It's a good thing you're the only one of us that has a good Gollum impression.
Also, the Gollum in that game, he barely sounds like a. What were they doing? What kind of voice were they doing? The sniveling nasally.
Yeah, like I saw some cutscenes of it. It doesn't sound anything like Andy Serkis in any of
I mean, I get maybe when they wrote the book, Andy Serkis is one of the cases where they did it where his voice became the definitive voice.
Yeah, because you can still go back and watch that animated Lord of the Rings film and that Gollum voice, and it's fine. This one just sounds terrible.
Yeah, like there's a reason why every Gollum impression, Gollum voice actor has tried to mimic Andy Serkis since his performance. Yeah, needless to say, absolutely do not. Just don't play it.
I mean, do we have to say? Can we move? Redfall, that earned 2 awards because it earned my review mistake as well. Good God, Redfall is a pile of crap.
Yeah,
and it's.
I feel like they definitely should have done what I thought Bethesda were doing originally, which was they were going to make it Left 4 Dead but with vampires.
Yeah, and it was although it was more of a single player focused experience initially. Arcane were planning for, and then they were sort of forced by the higher ups into making this like live service team loot shooter, which does not fit anything. And also, it's like for a game where you're fighting vampires, most of the time you're fighting like people with guns.
Yeah, like I'm upset by this as well, just because I'm a massive vampire fan.
Yeah, I'm putting it this way: we didn't do any multiplayer. The two of us, we were so bummed out by doing the single player experience. We just said we're not going to continue playing this.
The first I got was I killed my first vampire, which is like 20 minutes into the game.
I did. I played it I played it for like 10, 15. I played for like 10 hours, and I was just like, I'm not doing any more of this.
I think that's about as long as I spent on Lord of the Rings Gollum.
It's just like I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing this. I'm done. It is so boring and it doesn't have any direction, and the enemies are dumb as I managed to kill a vampire with no effort because it T-posed in a doorway, and I just kept shooting it and shooting it. I was like, yeah, you couldn't have waited a little bit longer for this one, guys. Incidentally, I also play it on Series X, so I was playing it in 30 FPS, not 60.
Oof.
And I don't think but I said, even if you updated this thing, even if you updated it and you increased the enemy amount, so you gave it the frame rate, the game loop is boring. Like, they don't actually have cutscenes in it. It's just still images with voiceover.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I should have scored it lower, but since we're moving a little bit into the review scores one from that, Elliot, why do you think you mentioned Danganronpa? Mentioning Danganronpa so much was a mistake.
Because when I was talking about the Mystery Labyrinth sections, I was saying, oh, this is basically this game's version of blank mechanic from Danganronpa, which I feel like was like sort of make it, for starters, it felt more like I was half reviewing Danganronpa, half reviewing Master Vakas at times, and it felt like I wasn't judging the game by its own merits and more comparing it to what came before, which I feel like did a disservice because Master Vakas by itself is a fantastic game. I feel like it should have maybe mentioned Danganronpa a couple of times rather than like in nearly every section.
Yeah,
I talked about.
There was no avoiding Danganronpa because it's obviously made by the same company, and there are plot similarities between the two. So the comparisons were inevitably going to come up. But yeah, I think that's a good mistake to admit. Reese, remind me again, what was your award for biggest review mistake?
Mine was Dead Space Remake.
Yeah, I must be honest. It felt like everyone was raving about that game at the beginning of 2023, and then by the end, we all forgot it existed.
I think that might be because Resident Evil 4 came out and just kind of blew it out.
Yeah. What do you? Yeah. Well, Reese, to your point, what would you say now you would score it?
I'd definitely go low. I'd probably go like 8.5 at the most.
That's still commendable.
It's still a good score.
Like, put it this way, it's on Game Pass right now, but it's coming on at the same time as Resident Evil 2. Now, for a new Game Pass owner who's about to get it now, and they're going to have Dead Space and Resident Evil 2 Remake, which one would you advise them to download first?
Probably Resident Evil.
I'd probably say Resident Evil, honestly.
Yeah, I would. But is there a merit to downloading Dead Space Remake? Is Game Pass, do you think, the right home for it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because it is a gorgeous-looking game with amazing sound design. I just encountered so many bugs and glitches. Like, the game wouldn't even allow me to do New Game Plus.
That's annoying. I mean, it's still better than Callisto Protocol.
Yeah.
I still stand by. Callisto Protocol was hated. I actually still quite like that game.
Have you played the last DLC of it? The DLC apparently completely ruins it.
I've only played the main story. I didn't even know it had DLC.
Yeah, no, it's had some DLC and everyone hates it.
Oh god.
But
in all fairness, people already hated the main game.
No, people that liked the main game said they don't like the DLC. Worst company we all went for Activision. Me and Relic went for Activision Blizzard. Do we even need to say why?
Yeah,
it's Activision Blizzard. Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
And
the cancelled single player for Overwatch 2.
That was my biggest grievance this year. They basically made me hate Overwatch, and I didn't want to hate Overwatch.
Yeah. And I chose differently because I didn't want it to be a full sweep.
But for me as well, it was like, this is the last year Activision Blizzard can win this, because it's now Microsoft is now going to take the blame for anything they do, because they are the parent company. It's on Activision and Blizzard are now both under the Xbox Game Studios banner. They are now responsible for anything they do.
So now we can say now we have to say either Activision or Blizzard. We can't say both.
Yeah, no, true, because they are now separate companies by definition. Technically, I think that means Toys for Bob is a separate company as well.
Huh. Fingers crossed, they'll give us another Spyro.
I'm saying more fingers crossed they do the Banjo-Kazooie remake I want them to do. Shall we, Reese? I know Bethesda screwed up a lot this year, but they did have one really great game this year that sort of pulled it back for me.
Yeah.
But there's one good game, cancel out everything else they've done.
I agree. They've been weaker than they should have been this year, and I
Yeah,
think that
I mean, if it was up to me, I would have expected you to say something like Ubisoft before Bethesda, because Ubisoft haven't had anything good.
No,
as far as I'm aware.
they just have middling at best, but because it's really just the fallout from Starfield. The staff at Bethesda actually went on the attack in the game reviews that people have left.
that was bad, especially considering
Yeah.
that I'm actually someone who quite likes Starfield. I will stand by. I think there's a merit to this one. I'm interested about when a few years down the line, are we going to say, yeah, Starfield wasn't that great, or is it going to be sort of a resurgence in it? Because I think it took Oblivion a little time to get to its heights, and it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, then you get ones like Skyrim and Fallout 3 and 4, which got acclaimed straight away.
Yeah, they did.
And if this formula keeps going, it makes me especially worried for Elder Scrolls 6.
So, on that basis, what do we think will be, of all the games we're here, of some of the games we're announcing, do we think Microsoft is in the next couple of years going to get a 90+ game on Metacritic?
Well, if Elder Scrolls 6 ever releases, probably.
I feel like if we're going to get any, I would, at this point, coming from me personally, I feel that's probably on Blade.
Blade. I go Hellblade 2. I think Hellblade 2 is going to break the 90.
Actually, I forgot about that one.
Same.
I could also say I think when it comes out, maybe Fable.
I'm not so sure on that one.
Yeah, Fable feels more like something that would be like a 7 or 8 rather than like a 9. I think most of the hype with that is people who are nostalgic for it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the disappointing games. So, Elliot, there was 2 ties: Immortals of Avium and your other
and one. Infinity Stress Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai.
How did Dai disappoint you?
To put it simply, in the 6 hours I played it, I got maybe an hour of gameplay.
Oh.
Most of the game is cutscenes. I say that very iffy because in truth, cutscenes were still images from the anime with voiceovers.
Okay, I see. How about?
And even then, the gameplay was just okay.
And again,
I was kind of expecting it to be like a Dynasty Warriors game, a lot like what we got with a Fate Samurai Remnant later down the line. Which, funny enough, I stopped my review for that game to review Fate Samurai Remnant, and I had a much better time with that one.
Not a great choice on that one.
Yeah, the main problem was just the cutscenes because I compared to something like Ultimate Ninja Storm and the Hinokami Chronicles, where it was like, okay, it's going to be the anime, but very condensed, and we are and it is going to be like most of the cuts are going to be animated in like in-game engines, which you just didn't get.
Okay,
it was like it abridged certain moments, but then showed everything like other moments to the point where I was just thinking, I might as well just be watching the show.
Yeah, that's my.
And in fact, I did watch the show and finally finished it. Fucking good. I wish I got a better game.
Yeah. Can I also add Immortals of Avium into that mix? That one, I saw a lot of people be a little bit disappointed with that one.
The reason why I put this in is because I can see this being a really good game. Like, there are a lot of things in it that I actually really like. Like, I like the combat and magic system. For example, I think there's a lot really good with it. And not to mention, it's a very solid, like, no glitches game. Like, there was no frame rate drops, no glitches at all, which means all my problems with it were active choices.
That makes
for example, as I said in the Twitter group chat, how long of a cooldown do you think you should have between dodges?
and we said stuff like 2-3 seconds.
I think you said like a second to half a second. Yeah, the dodging in this one had a fucking cooldown meter.
That's the thing. You don't have dodging should not have a cooldown meter.
Yeah, and the thing that really annoyed me was I would face bosses that I previously fought in the game, like as regular enemies, which is something I normally like Dark Souls does that as an example. Enemies, early game bosses, you fight in like the Lost Izalith as regular enemies, kind of to prove how far you've come. Yeah, in this game, you fought bosses as regular enemies like 5 minutes after fighting them as bosses. It's okay. Yeah, I can see this game being really good. I'm just disappointed.
Can I, Reese, your biggest disappointment?
Advanced
not to mention, sorry, I want to say, well, the story is awful. The story is really bad and has one of the most, a character that honestly rivals the main character in Forspoken as worst protagonist this year. Like, it's tried so hard to do like Marvel dialogue to the point where the main character just sounds like they have no respect for authority. It's fucking awful.
Can I also add to the mix another thing about Malls of Avon, which is it seems a bit down that there was so many that game did not financially do as well as it did, and there was a lot of layoffs as a result.
Yeah.
I get a feeling that I think that EA should have gone to Microsoft with this one and get a Game Pass deal. I think this game was doomed at the time it came out to not do financially well. I would have immediately at EA gone to, if I was with them, I would have gone to EA and said, look, this release date's terrible. Can you call Microsoft and get a Game Pass deal?
The thing is, it came out around a time where like nothing else was really out aside from Pikmin 4, which is kind of the more unfortunate thing.
Yeah, but I think it was also the fact that there was a lot of good stuff coming in a few months' time and people were saving their money. Advance Wars 1 and Plus 2 Reboot Camp. I nearly picked this for blandest game.
It's a really good game. They brought over like the original gameplay from the original Game Boy Advance games, but I really did not like the art style. It really put me off.
Because
it's gone from that amazing 2D pixel art to bland, shiny plastic 3D models with no detail.
Well, I get what they're doing with like the toy soldier aesthetic. Wouldn't it have been a bit better if they like borrowed the HD 2D engine that they make Octopath Traveler with?
Yeah, and that was a part of my review. Yeah, I would have much preferred that, or had the option to go 3D or have the old 2D art style back.
I feel like they could, with this one, they should have like gone for like a very shell shaded 2D style.
Yeah,
like with the option to go back to pixel art rather than like having the whole sort of plastic look. Yeah.
Or if they really wanted, or if they really wanted to do that, or as Elliot pointed out, go cell shaded, go like Wind Waker art style.
Yeah.
Like, Wind Waker still looks great today. Imagine if an Advance Wars in that style.
Yeah.
I will say, though, it's great to hear Veronica Taylor back, but she's using her Ash Ketchum voice.
A lot for Andy. Because if you put her and Ash, him and Ash together next to each other, you cannot tell a difference in the voice.
We'll do my two at the end. I mean, Sonic Superstars, I kind of wanted to make mention of it because it's just a decent 2D Sonic, but it's got some stuff that really infuriates me.
You've said it has the worst final boss in Sonic history.
The absolute worst. It sucks. So, in fact, all the boss fights are just terrible.
Did you try it with multiplayer at all?
No, I couldn't convince anyone to play with me. But I did watch some multiplayer that Jeff Grubb did online to sort of get a hint of it. There's that level you get with where Sonic gets a firefly because it's all otherwise the whole thing's covered in fog. Do you know what I found amazing? That only one player can carry those, and they're completely reliant on that player to then get them through in a co-op scenario. And I mentioned in my review saying I haven't done this, but I've seen it, and in my opinion, that's terrible design.
It's kind of like to compare to another thing in Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U, where only one person could like use the Wii U gamepad, and you basically like relying on them.
And I don't think it helped that again. It was a few days before Super Mario Wonder, which was a brilliant multiplayer experience. You've then got to add. Can I also add into the mix though? Sea of Stars though really is the top prize with this one because
Yeah.
This should have been in my top 5 of the year, and I just grew to be drained by it by the end. The gameplay is too repetitive. There's not enough random encounters, so as a result,
Because you were like saying how much you enjoyed the gameplay at first.
At first, I was loving the gameplay, but then I realized these encounters are not random. This is entirely set up so you are never under level for anything. So there's no challenge whatsoever. There's no side quest, so you can't do anything of that. I was thinking when I was saying that stuff, I was thinking all this stuff is coming. Like the optional challenges are coming, the side quests are coming, the interesting story moments are coming. I was like, no, none of those things came.
Yeah, the thing that really blew it for me was the story. I stand by the story is atrocious.
I know, I agree, and it's mainly because they stupidly at the end try to tie it into the messenger, and it's a terrible idea because they're completely different in terms of like their stories and their themes.
My problem is just there's like no character moments.
Exactly.
There's no kind of literally the entire story is just go from one plot point to the next. Like go get one MacGuffin, then go to the next one. And at the end, like they show Johnny and Chris, they show like a role of like characters that you saw previously in the game. I'm just like, I don't remember any of these.
The only one I remember
literally all they did was go get the thing. Okay, you got the thing. Bye-bye.
The only person I remember is Garl.
That's because he's the only one with an actual personality.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the villain motivations in this one, they actually have decent villain motivations initially. And then by the end of the game, the final twist is, oh yeah, those motivations were crap. It's just a power struggle.
Yeah.
I hated the storyline in Sea of Stars. It's absolute worst quality.
Yeah, I was warning you as well. Yeah. I beat one of the rare times I beat the game before you, and I just went, story shit, mate.
Yeah, and I thought, okay, well, it's not been that bad so far. It can't be that bad. And I was like, oh my god, he wasn't kidding. It's that bad.
Yeah.
Okay, we're moving on now. We're going to do the next 3 awards.
We haven't done Blandest Game, have we?
Oh no, we haven't done Blandest Game. No, yeah, well, we sort of did because I combined it with a Mortal Kombat 1 because that was on Reese's Worst, so I combined it with that one. But let's talk about your Blandest Game, Elliot.
Forspoken.
Which is Forspoken, which, yeah, I don't really... I played the demo of that one. It did nothing for me.
Well, to start off, to continue from what I said with Mortals of Ephraim, Alfred Holland is the worst protagonist to come out this year. She is awful. Like, she is... Like, the game makes it feel sympathetic at the beginning because, like, basically the beginning when she's still in New York is, like, she gets completely screwed over. And then when she's in the fantasy world, you just feel nothing but resentment for her.
But it's...
Because she's so fucking annoying. Like, everyone remembers the Twitter clip.
Yeah. I think
like that was basically the beginning of Strangers of Paradise, except in Strangers of Paradise it was so cringe it was hilarious. In this one it was so cringe it made me want to vomit.
I think it didn't help that this game came out the exact same time as Hi-Fi Rush, and I think Hi-Fi Rush took the Steam audience.
Well, basically it was Hi-Fi Rush was for the Xbox fans. Forspoken was for the PlayStation fans.
But they did...
And for once the Xbox fans won.
Yeah, and it's funny because on Steam was you could say on that basis, well, they were console exclusives to their respective consoles.
Yeah, I still remember when we were at 70K, you were talking about how excited you were to get back home so you could play Hi-Fi Rush. I was talking about how much I was dreading going back home because I had to play Forspoken.
And that's completely accurate. And I remember going though, if I had a Steam Deck on that trip, I would have loaded up both games, and I would have been like Forspoken. I would have been done with it very quickly. Hi-Fi Rush, I would have been on constantly. It was...
The basics of Forspoken is just it's an open world game and nothing else.
But that's the thing.
Like there's a lot of stuff to do in the open world, but all of it is like just really boring.
And Hi-Fi Rush,
and the combat is bland, and this made like no impact on me.
Reese, what sort of game? What did you pick for your black? You picked. You already picked Advance Wars, didn't you?
Yeah, so mine was Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Assassin's Creed Mirage. Yeah. Now that game looked really boring.
Yeah, because they've stripped the whole game back to the basics of Assassin's Creed 1. So basic weaponry, basic tools, except now there's only one main city of Baghdad to do.
So there's nothing to do in this game whatsoever.
It's a shame because I heard a lot. I heard a lot of people saying they kind of want to have a back to form Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, but this is way too back to basics. There's only like 9 knives, 9 swords in the entire game, and that's it for weapons.
So if they went more, say, Assassin's Creed 2, do you think this game would have been improved?
Yeah, because as it is now, it's just so basic and forgettable. It's also really short. It only took like 10 hours to get the platinum.
So this is clearly just people to tie us over till we get to Assassin's Creed Codename Red, Scott, J, or whatever.
I mean, I'll give it this. At least it's not trying to rip off The Witcher 3 again.
Oh, that's true. We'll wait until we get the one that's set during the Salem witch trials that they're working on, Codename Hex.
Oh yeah, that one.
So I think we need to move on to.
Yeah, we've been on this section for way too long.
Yeah, so we're going to do three awards here. Start with Best Soundtrack.
The Herald of Darkness Award.
Nice. Elliot, what's your award go to?
You could probably tell already by the name Alan Wake 2.
Reese?
Armored Core 6.
Hey!
Final Fantasy 16.
I will admit, I nearly picked Final Fantasy 16. I wanted to give Alan Wake a little bit more.
Best update to a game through DLC or free updates.
The least concerning Tapeworm Award.
Elliot?
Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways and Mercenaries.
Reese, sorry?
God of War Ragnarok Valhalla.
I gave it to Dead Cells Return to Castlevania.
Oh,
And finally, best multiplayer experience.
The Calvin and Ren Shouting Contest Award.
Your award, Elliot?
Super Mario Wonder.
Reese?
Armored Core 6.
Super Mario Wonder.
I did not know Armored Core 6 had multiplayer.
Neither did I, to be fair.
Yep, it's got online death matches, duels 1v1 or 3v3, and it's so much fun and chaotic.
I would imagine so. I imagine the Armored Core players who play that are insane.
But Super Mario Wonder,
both with how good they are and just insane in general.
Yeah,
because they actually beat the game.
How do you think do you get as many troll players like you do with Dark Souls in Armored Core 6, or is a lot more fairer?
It's a lot more fair because the weapons are a lot more balanced.
Yeah, I feel like Armored Core will give you less opportunities to be a troll than Dark Souls would.
Yeah, you also don't get invincibilities like you do with rolling in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
So you can't avoid attacks. You just have to either dodge them or soak the damage.
Oh, I've done the lazy journalism thing. I've now done comparing Armored Core and Dark Souls just because they're both made by FromSoft. What am I doing?
I mean, in all fairness, I feel like in this case you kind of can.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
At least you're not saying both games are practically the same. Hello, I'm Vati Vidya. Listen to my voice. I am going to make you cry over some king.
I like Vati as well. I don't know why.
I like Vati.
Yeah, but it's funny how when he started doing Armored Core videos, the entire community was calling him out because he kept saying Armored Cores are taking from Dark Souls by having a lock-on system. I'm like, no, Armored Core's always had a lock-on system back to the PS1 game.
Every game has a lock-on system.
Yeah, so the entire community was calling him out because it was pretty much just engagement farming.
Yeah.
The Super Mario Wonder, though, I'm glad everyone agreed with me on that one.
I nearly didn't put something for this one because I was thinking I can't remember a game that actually had multiplayer and I played this year. Then I remembered, oh yeah, Mario.
I was close to giving this to Street Fighter 6, but Street Fighter
6... I was really thinking you would pick Street Fighter 6, honestly. I'm very surprised.
The reason I didn't pick Street Fighter 6 is I like the sort of single-player multiplayer aspect to Mario Wonder a bit more. And also, I don't like that. There's two factors I don't like about Street Fighter 6 online multiplayer.
Is it that people can rage quit and not receive any losses?
Yeah, they can rage quit, and you both suffer for it because I lose. You also, if you've got a winning streak, you lose it as well.
That's annoying.
And I'd also like to add to the list: you can't report players for anything. I tried; it's not possible. And to such an extent, I actually tried to report a player who had who used their name to imply a racial slur, and I couldn't report them. Despite
was it the end?
Elliot, I'm
not gonna say the actual word.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm not that bad. I keep making jokes about you not getting monetized, despite the fact we're not monetized. I'm not actually going to do it. But is it something like they said?
That word you're thinking.
It's something they said the N word, but with like exclamation points and threes in it or something like that.
No, they tried to be a bit cleverer with that one. But to which I was like, I am so gonna slap you if I ever see you in real life.
Yeah, look, that's why us are a more respectable bunch.
Yeah, I'll.
We just enjoy our sword game where the women's clothing rips a little bit when their armor goes down.
Nah.
Thank you for that inclusion, Soul Calibur 4.
Next up,
anyway, Super Mario Wonder. We never actually talked about that.
Yeah, the thing about Super Mario Wonder is like when we did the multiplayer with Ren, that was such fun.
Yeah, I legit want to do a full playthrough with other people. It was so chaotic and so enjoyable.
Yeah,
I did do a 16-player game at one point.
You can do a mode which you have 10, 12 people in a room, and you can do obstacle races with 4 people in a single course. I've done it. Not very fun. It's the one downside to it. It's not very fun because
it would be fun if you were in a Discord call with a bunch of friends.
Yeah, but
I know it's just I imagine that being Super Mario Wonder Fall Guys or something.
Yeah, they should. I would love if they did a Mario Party game that's like Fall Guys. You could have loads and loads of players.
I mean, they tried that with Kirby.
Yeah, that turned out pretty well.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, no one agrees with me on that one for some reason. Look, shall we move on to the DLC awards because some good ones here. I'm going to start with Elliot on this one because he picked the most unconventional one. The
Resident Evil 4.
Yeah. Can I say I'm glad you picked this one because I'm a bit mixed on the VR mode with the game.
First of all, I know some people are probably surprised I didn't pick Tales of Arise because that one was really fun, but I haven't played much of it. I've played 2 hours.
Yeah, and also I'm assuming it takes place middle of the story rather than after the main story.
No, it does take place. It does take place after.
Okay, so if you can jump back in if you finish the story a couple of years later.
Yeah.
Earlier. So okay, what's so good?
It was also through that I realized, wow, I've forgotten a lot about this game.
I will say as well, I really like the Mercenaries mode in Resident Evil 4. That was really good fun when I played it.
I got addicted to that for a good week. The Mercenaries mode is so much fun.
And annoyingly, it's not available in the VR.
Oh, that's weird.
You can
that's annoying. I mean, I would have expect Mercenaries to be a very good fit for VR.
Yeah, no, it's the only thing you get in VR is the main story and target practice.
That's
the
annoying.
game. The game you do with the merchant's place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm way better at with the VR mode than I am in playing with a controller.
Yeah. Also, I also just really like separate ways. I like going through the areas that Leon did as Ada, and so seeing the aftermath of that. And mind you, I never played the original Separate Ways, so it was just kind of interesting to do.
I did play the original Separate Ways. I think actually the Resident Evil 4, the remake version, is an improvement on.
I think Resident Evil 4 is an improvement. The remake is improvement on the first game entirely.
I would say with everything except the late monster. The late monster is way worse in the remake.
No, I say that about them, honestly.
This, oh god, especially in VR mode. The VR mode version of the Lake Monster is awful.
I mean, I think it's fine.
Uh,
I think the late monsters okay. It's definitely the worst part of the game, but
shall we move? Reese, God of War Valhalla, very good choice. I nearly picked it.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was mostly surprised at how amazing it was for the fact it was free.
Yeah, considering how much content you're getting.
Yeah,
I mean,
like considering its roguelike elements, you can get an infinite amount of playtime out of it and just keep rerunning.
I'm really annoyed Ren wants to do it on stream because I'm gonna have to erase my save file
Oh,
to do it.
yeah, I think most people were expecting a DLC about Atreus.
yeah.
If this,
Do you think we might still get that down the line?
no, I think we're gonna get a full spin-off game like Miles Morales.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I'm not saying I've heard anything. That's my prediction based on the way Santa Monica Studios seems to be structuring itself at the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was just super impressed at how fun of a roguelike it was. But also the narrative woven within, because it basically acts as a giant therapy session for Kratos
Yeah, I
about
actually.
life.
Yeah, I also think it's just really cool to fight old Greek monsters in the new God of War style.
Yeah, that was quite cool because you were saying for ages you'd love to play a God of War game where you played the Greek fights in that style. So
Yeah.
you I will say did you was it I think you only turn up the difficulty a bit more to how you would play on the story mode because I think it's a little easier once you get the hang of it.
Yeah.
Like I mostly only died to the final boss in every run. I barely ever died to basic enemies.
I think that shows how out of practice I am then.
Um,
Most notably, I found myself dying a lot to the Bifrost enemies,
oh yeah,
which was always the case when I played it, if I remember.
Yeah.
I also found it a bit weird because you got to get a guidebook out to sort of figure out what all the doors mean. It's not as easy as Hades figuring out what you want to earn in certain points.
Yeah, because I mean, with Hades, it was literally just go through here. There's a thing. Meanwhile, with God of War, you had to like decipher each glyph. Yeah.
I want to be playing Hades 2 by the end of 2024. I really want to be playing Hades 2.
Same.
Dead Cells Return to Castlevania. I really liked this one. It was a loving tribute to Castlevania in so many ways, and it brought me back to Dead Cells in a big way as well.
I'm pretty surprised you picked that one, honestly. I was thinking you picked God of War.
I was close, but then I thought, no, God of War made me happy, but Dead Cells made me ecstatic. I love all the new weapons, bar a couple of them, are just damn near perfect. They improved that game significantly. Like, you power up the Death Scythe enough, you are unstoppable. It actually takes the souls of your enemies and fires them back at new enemies.
Oh.
Well, at the very least, we got a better roguelike this year than Have a Nice Death gave us.
I actually quite liked Have a Nice Death.
That game's okay. I just think it goes on a bit too long.
So what's the soundtrack? We got to talk about the soundtrack. So
yeah,
I'm gonna start Alan Wake 2. I mean, even if you don't count Herald of Darkness, the soundtrack is great.
Yeah, I was so close. I was so tempted to pick. It was like a real big race between Alan Wake 2 and Final Fantasy 16. Because Final Fantasy 16 overall has a better soundtrack, but Alan Wake 2 has my favorite. And that's kind of what bumped it up. Like, I'm going to be singing Herald of Darkness for years.
Yeah, when I got to that chapter in the game, it was so enjoyable.
Yeah, I'm upset. I'm still upset that you got spoiled on that.
Yeah, but also, who knew David Harwood could sing that well?
Yeah.
He's one of the best parts of that game. His performance is fantastic.
Oh, Warland Door is a great character overall.
But also, that being said, you did not warn me of how nuts it was going to be when I met Tom Zane.
Ah, yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, I didn't want to ruin the surprise. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, I was like that thing going, I feel like I've tripped on So obviously, Reese, I forgot what you picked now.
Armored Core.
Armored Core. Yeah, that had a very good soundtrack actually.
Yeah, it's fully out on Spotify now. It's over 2 hours long and it's amazing.
Oh, damn.
Because it takes industrial rock and puts it through a synthesizer, and it works extremely well. So basically, did you guys ever watch the original Tron film?
Yeah, I did.
No,
so
I haven't.
It's very similar to, with more rock in it.
I guess to compare to another thing is like it's a bit like a Dragon Gaiden, where it takes like the way I described it in my review, it took like sort of metal riffs and put them through and made them like techno.
Yeah,
and it really works like favorite soundtrack in a like a Dragon game.
So, actually, can I say on that one, actually, when you said, have you seen Tron? And I said, yes, I realised me and Reese have become the villains in SAO Abridged.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 16, though, the word epic comes to mind when you think of that soundtrack.
That album is legendary, like genuinely.
I was close to picking Hi-Fi Rush, but a couple of those songs blend in a little too much to each other.
Yeah. Also, Hi-Fi Rush licensed songs, I feel like that's cheating a little bit, honestly.
Yeah, but even if you took the amount of effort that went into the streamer mode songs as well, though. Excellent. It's I will say as well though.
Which Saints Row put in that much effort?
Final Fantasy 16.
Instead of just leaving everything silent.
Like Final Fantasy 16, it feels like they said, how many times can we remake Duel of Fates?
Yeah.
All those boss fights are just stunning as a result from just the soundtracks.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. The one that comes to my mind immediately is the Titan one.
Oh, the Titan one is excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to our next lot of awards. Most surprisingly enjoyable game.
The How Haven't I Died Yet award. The biggest surprise.
Oh yes. Elliot.
Liza P.
Reese.
RoboCop.
Street Fighter.
I forgot that one came out this year.
Yeah, I forgot about it as well. Street Fighter 6 for me. Best graphics and art style.
The best AI artwork award.
Elliot.
Alan Wake 2.
Reese.
I did have a tie for this because I bought for most realistic. I went Armored Core, but for the art style itself, Mario RPG remake.
Oh.
I'm gonna side with Elliot on this one. Alan Wake 2.
I thought you would pick Hi-Fi Rush, honestly.
I was close, but Alan Wake 2 blew me away.
Yeah.
How good it looked. Best company / publisher in terms of announcements and releases.
The Kindest Sentence in Hell award.
Elliot.
Nintendo.
Reese.
Nintendo.
It's a sweep.
And finally, best re-release / remaster.
The Ghostbusters 2 award.
Elliot.
Hey.
Resident Evil 4 remake.
Reese.
Advance Wars.
Oh, weird choice considering. Considering that you both forgot about the one that I picked, Metroid Prime Remastered.
No, I didn't forget. I didn't forget about that one.
Okay, well, I think I want to start with Metroid Prime Remastered then.
Okay.
They made the definitive version of that game now with the new control scheme.
Yeah, I wrote the review for that, by the way. Yay.
Yeah, a very good review, by the way, Elliot.
That was my first time ever beating the game.
I just loved this remaster. I agree with you. Resident Evil 4 Remake is an excellent game, but it's gonna get more love from me later. So I thought let's give it to Metroid Prime Remaster because the effort that's been put into that has been amazing.
Yeah, Metroid Prime was just a lot of fun. Like you could easily tell why it's one of the most beloved first-person shooters out there, and now we have the best way of playing it.
I will say, before we go on to Resident Evil, your opinions on Resident Evil 4, Elliot, Reese, you gave Advance Wars 1 and 2 blandest game, and you've now given it best remake /
No, you gave it disappointing, didn't you?
Disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing. Disappointing for the art style, but everything else is top-notch. So we've got the amazing multiplayer, we've got the amazing strategies. The AI has seen an improvement from the original game, so it's more challenging.
I wish it hadn't.
Yeah. So everything apart from the art style has been massively improved for the remaster. And so, and we also get 2 games in one as well. So you're doubling the amount of content.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this is sold enough that we do get it like in Advance Wars 3.
I think considering the reason it got its massive delay, I think Nintendo's just going to look at that and say, again, they don't want the headache of Advance Wars, because every time they try with it, they seem to get some sort of headache with it. And I think they're like, do you know what?
Yeah.
Let's not do this again.
Yeah.
It's like, I can tell this is the end of Advance Wars. Saints Row was the end of Saints Row. This is the end of Advance Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elliot, Resident Evil 4 remake. I mean, fantastic game.
It was so good, dude. Like, I think I've said this, but I think I said this to you before, but I'm gonna say this has become my favorite Resident Evil game. It is absolutely fantastic. Like, it's so much fun.
I think this one is tied for me with Resident Evil 2 remake at the minute.
Yeah, it's just so good.
It does. I thought, how are you going to make an update to Resident Evil 4 when it's aged so well? And they did a really good job with it.
Yeah, and the thing I like about it most, it doesn't overshadow the original. I played the original after playing that, or went back to it briefly after playing this one. Still really good. Still holds up.
Yeah, you can play either. Again, it's like Resident Evil 2. You can play either game. And you're going to get a great experience.
Yeah. Unlike Resident Evil 3, where you play the remake, you go where you play the original. You have a lot of fun.
Shall we move on with the? I'd like to talk about Nintendo was a clean sweep for all 3 of us.
Yeah.
But they just had such a fantastic. Like, they basically said, if this is the Switch's final complete year on the market, we're going out with a bang.
Yeah.
So it's like, what other Nintendo console can you say? We got an amazing 3D Zelda and an amazing 2D Mario at this stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even then, some of the other stuff, Pikmin 4, I had my issues with it, but it was pretty good for the most part.
It did make me realize. I will admit, Pikmin 4 did make me realize I'm not a Pikmin fan, but I can see why people love it.
They started off the year with gameplay-wise. Fire Emblem Engage was really good.
Everything else-wise, not really.
Kirby Return to Dreamland was excellent.
I mean, to go back to a previous one, Metroid Prime Remaster.
Brilliant re-release.
We had an amazing exclusive of Master Detective Archives.
Which Nintendo published. I believe Nintendo did publish that one. Nintendo also they did publish a few good third-party games. Like, their biggest blunder this year was other than their stuff with the tournament, their stuff to do with tournaments, which, by the way, that got blown a little bit out of proportion.
I think it's kind of bullshit. Still think it's bullshit, though.
But it's been created. The thing that they should have conveyed better was, look, we're not really going to be shutting down many tournaments. What we're really doing is we're covering ourselves for legal reasons, because we've had a bunch of our tournaments have had some bad actors in them, and we want to basically stamp them out.
I mean, the biggest blunder for me was them taking down copyright striking content creators' videos for having modding their games.
Yeah, that one was a big letdown. And in terms of releases, though, I think their biggest flailing was Everybody 1-2 Switch.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I was thinking Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, Detective Pikachu's not that great either, but again, I also think the Pokemon Company kind of feels almost separate from Nintendo with the way they handle their business. It's weird because Nintendo really is moving into the esports market. They've got 3 great esports games now.
If I remember, ARMS was originally sort of made because they were made kind of as Nintendo's esports fighting game.
They tried that, and it was never going to supplant Smash Brothers with it.
Yeah.
But they've got Splatoon 3, they've got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and they've now got Smash Brothers. They don't really need anything else.
Yeah, they've got Mario Kart for the racing.
Yeah, but even then, you'd never want to turn Mario Kart into an esport.
So one thing I think would be funny is if they tried making everyone 1-2 sport.
Oh my god!
Just how funny would that be?
I can't get over the fact that horse is called MC Horace. Oh God. Do you mind if before we do the graphics one, considering there was a bit of an overlay, we do enjoy surprisingly enjoyable game.
Sure.
Yeah.
Elliot, you picked
Lies of P.
Lies of P. That surprises me because I thought you were hyped going into that.
I went into it kind of thinking this is going to be all right because a lot of non-FromSoft Souls likes are kind of middling. No, this one was incredibly solid.
Oh, yeah, agreed. It's very, very solid. Incident. I'm gonna go. I'd also like to say as well, Lies of P. Even though I didn't beat it because it was really hard.
I still haven't beaten it, honestly.
It's the thing about it is though, from what I played of it, and I got to the second boss fight with the rabbit gang.
I got up to what I call basically this game's Millennia.
But from what I played of that, I was like, someone gets Dark Souls. They get Dark Souls.
Yeah.
They get Bloodborne. They've not made this game to cash in on it. They really get it.
Yeah, they understand that there needs to be a balance with the difficulty and as well as adding all their other mechanics, like the combining of the blades and the handles. I think is a brilliant decision.
Oh, that's genius. That's genius. Can I, Reese? So we move on to your one. You picked
RoboCop Rogue City.
Yeah, this one got very mixed reviews from what I saw.
I mean, I was surprised when I heard Yahtzee say he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
What did you enjoy about it, Reese?
Well, it's set between RoboCop 2 and 3, and there's a lot of respect for the source material. Because even bring back some of the original actors from the 80s films to reprise the roles.
So don't just do what Rambo did, where they just took voices from the films.
No, they actually brought them back, and they have prominent roles as well.
And that's probably the first time. It's probably the first time in the last 9 years that that Rambo game has been mentioned.
Oh my God! Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, they also did the Terminator game recently as well. Oh, if you remember that.
Oh, geez.
No, I don't.
So, I mean, it's great we got a good RoboCop game, but I mean, I just think it's a really good. I'm quite glad for the fans. I'm not the biggest RoboCop fan in the world, but I'm how do we do it? How much do they incorporate Ed 209? Because that can often
he's a recurring boss.
Oh, for God's sake, they really can't get away from Ed 209, can they?
Nope.
My one was Street Fighter 6, and that was mainly because I was surprised how much I enjoyed the accessibility features, particularly the modern controls.
Yeah.
Which it's given me a fighting game that I really enjoy the loop of more than ever. Like, this might be my all-time favorite fighting game now.
Oh damn! Even more than Smash Bros.
I'd say Smash Bros. Ultimate excels it, but in the traditional sense of fighting games, this one definitely wins for me.
Well, yeah, for me, it's still no contest. Soul Calibur 2 is the best fighting game. But again, bias.
So,
give us Soul Calibur 7, damn it.
I've been playing a bit of the Soul Calibur PSP game since it came on PSN.
I play. It sucks.
Yeah, Kratos being in it doesn't save it.
Yeah, all I'll say is, thank God Soul Calibur 6 is really good. I've been playing that a fair bit this year.
The constantly moving Reese, he picked for your best. You went for Armored Core 6 in terms of the realism, and the art style you went for Mario RPG. Two good choices.
Yes, so with realism, I had to go to Armored Core because that just looks absolutely outstanding. The work on the textures alone is amazing, and you didn't get to the late stages of the game, Cal, but it does get mind-blowing with some of the bosses.
I could believe that. I absolutely believe that. I also agree with you on about Mario RPG as well, though. That game looks amazing when I've been playing it.
Yeah, that's had a full do-over for its graphic style, and it is the best-looking Switch game, in my opinion, on art style alone.
I love how they keep the chibi art style. Like, they could have gone modernized and gone with, oh, here's the modern Mario designs. Which, admittedly, it would be cool to have seen Mallow and Gino in like the traditional style, but it's like, yeah, I'm happy they kept the chibi looks. It's all cool. It's very cute.
Yeah,
really.
and they also added a ton more cutscenes as well.
Yeah,
really
it really added to the expressiveness of characters like Mallow, for example. But also, when you see it in that style, you think, how did he ever think he was a frog?
Yeah.
But let's move on to Alan Wake 2, which the thing that really impressed me about Alan Wake 2 is they made darkness look good, and I think that is a very hard thing to do, like almost pitch black.
I thought this one of the things I really liked about the original Alan Wake as well, how rather than like just making things really dark, they sort of had like a miasma over the screen to like make it all kind of wavy, which I thought did a really good job with obscure and everything. Alan Wake 2, yeah, that game that's one of the best looking games I've ever seen.
Yeah, like the chapter that really convinced me of how good this game looked was I believe it's chapter 4. We'll sing it.
That's Initiation 5.
Initiation 5, yeah, that's the chapter that convinced me.
We sing, yeah, that one's amazing. Just everything in the game looks fantastic. I love the use of FMV in it.
Yeah, true.
As an example, like how it shows it often enough so that you're not just waiting for the next bit, but it doesn't overuse it, and it's all incorporated brilliantly into the game.
Yeah, again, I also thought that worked out very well with the fact you could see what the old gods of Asgard look in Saga's story, and then you can contrast with how they look in Alan's story.
Yeah, no, all these are scanned from real life actors, and they look amazing.
Yeah, exactly. They do an amazing...
Like they look they look perfect, like identical.
I am aware that I got the worst looking. I'm aware that the Xbox version doesn't always look as good as the PlayStation 5 version, so I definitely suspect that if we convince Ren to stream it, it's going to look better when we see it that way.
I imagine. Oh, I'm forcing Ren to stream it. I don't give a shit what he says. He is playing Alan Wake 2. He's going to see how much better this game is than the first.
And what's going to happen is, as soon as we get to the Herald of Darkness chapter, we're not going to get any comments from Elliot because he's just going to be doing the dance in the corner. I will. I'll be telling you guys to shut up so I can listen to the music. Which, by the way, I'm not joking. I've seen him at Christmas. He genuinely knows the whole dance.
I know the chorus dance of these, which is basically the whole dance. And it's so much fun to do, honestly.
Let's do. Let me check how many we got left. We're going to do 4 more awards for this one.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We'll start with Best Story.
The One Good Marvel Movie a Year award. AKA this year Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Thank you very much. Elliot, your award goes to?
Final Fantasy 16.
Reese, your award goes to?
Jedi Survivor.
Oh!
And my award goes to Master Detective Archive Operation Raincode.
Oh shit, I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Best RPG.
The Dumb People Pretend to Be Smart award.
So that's me then.
I'm pretty sure that's just us collectively.
So, Elliot, your award?
2 for 2, Final Fantasy 16.
Here we are. Reese?
Final Fantasy 16.
Hey! I was half expecting you to pick like Mario RPG or something, Reese, honestly.
No, because in my opinion, it was still too easy of a game. That's when you judge with difficulty.
I'll break up the awards then. The Final Fantasy 16 thing. I'm giving it to Octopath Traveler 2.
Oh.
Best action game.
The Mashing a Single Button award.
Elliot.
Marvel Spider-Man 2.
Reese.
Marvel Spider-Man 2.
And I'm breaking up again. Hi-Fi Rush.
I was very close to picking Resident Evil 4 for that one, I will be honest.
Finally, Best Indie Game Award.
The Slim Pickens Award.
Elliot?
Sadly, Sea of Stars.
And you don't have anything good to say about it.
I have a couple good things, but yeah.
Reese?
Sea of Stars is the only one I played this year, so it has to be that.
Well, luckily I played a lot of indie games this year, and it came down to 3 games. And I ended up, of those three, picking A Space for the Unbound, and I'm staggered you didn't pick Have a Nice Death, Elliot.
I kind of forgot about that one, to be honest. Actually, yeah, in that case, then change it to Have a Nice Death.
Yeah, because Have a Nice Death is actually pretty good roguelike.
Yeah, I was thinking it would be kind of funny if you said, well, I played a lot of indie games this year, and yes, sadly, Sea of Stars.
No, I play. Honestly, the only two I could have picked other than A Space for the Unbound, which is basically 2D Life is Strange but with good dialogue. It was Wild Frost for the really good roguelike card game, or Have a Nice Death for being just genuinely good roguelike.
Didn't Goodbye Volcano High come out this year as well?
Yeah, but I didn't finish that one.
That's fair.
Wild Frost as well, though. It's very addictive. It's one of my, but it's also it doesn't. It's not as amazingly well thought out. I think like Space for the Unbound does a brilliant job, like doing satire for games like Phoenix. It does like tributes to games like Phoenix Wright and Street Fighter. It's basically these team from Indonesia making a tribute to all their favorite games of the 90s and 2000s.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And they do this very interesting story about not wanting to acknowledge the downsides of your day, like when things go wrong, not wanting to acknowledge it and paper over the cracks. And it's actually very well handled. I actually thought the ending, they didn't give me the ending I thought they was going to go for, but as a result, I think they went with a more mature ending, and I think it was for the better.
Oh,
so
good.
I really liked Space for the Unbound. It was the first indie game I played, and it was the one I felt at the end, yeah, this is the one I have the most warm feelings about. Sea of Stars, though.
Again, I thought the gameplay was fun at first, but the story just ruined it for me, honestly.
Graphically, it looks amazing, let's be honest.
Graphically, it looks fantastic. I gave it major points for that in my review.
You have to admit, though, the gameplay gets a little too repetitive, even by turn-based RPG standards.
I feel like it gets very unfair at times. Like, for example, when they do the move, when the enemy does the attacks, we have to do like certain types of damage to stop them from doing it. I didn't like that a lot of times the enemies did that like straight away at the beginning. It's their turn after your first guys go, and they're basically requiring you to do damage that you can't. It's basically mean, you have to face this attack at full power.
Yeah, that was rubbish. Final Fantasy 16 came up a lot in this segment, so I'm gonna say we're gonna skip it until the end, and sort of collectively talk about it.
Well, we haven't talked about Have a Nice Death.
We haven't talked about Have a Nice Death, so
that's the one I feel like should have gotten more love at the Game Awards.
Yeah, like we put it this way: we've pointed out two or three games right now that could have been in Dave the Diver's place.
Yeah. Have a Nice Death is just it's a fun roguelike, a lot like Dead Cells.
I would say it doesn't really do much new with the formula, with the roguelike formula. It's just a very good version of that.
Yeah, but I love the concept though. I love the idea of how Death has become burnt out, and he has to basically sort his company out.
Yeah, like I've got buried under paperwork. I'm sick of it. I'm going to stop.
And like the entire game is just him trying to have a vacation.
So, best RPG. Now we had two Final Fantasy 16, and I broke it up with Octopath Traveler 2, which
sacrilege.
Despite the reason I didn't pick Final Fantasy 16 is I thought Final Fantasy 16 was a little too easy, and I didn't really like the side.
What are you playing on?
Medium. And I picked. I will also say though, I do love the combat in 16, and we'll get to that. But
the combat is fantastic. Yeah.
But I would add a thing I really liked about Octopath Traveler 2 was the storylines, the characters, the setting. They all just improved on everything about the first game.
All the things you compliment are the reasons why I picked Final Fantasy 16.
The thing for me though is I don't like the thing I don't like about Octopath Traveler 2 is the boss fights. They're too long, and they often are basically more puzzles than they are actual boss fights.
And then there's a boss fight in Final Fantasy 16, where they are the definition of epic.
Yeah.
Like the icon fights are, holy shit, these are legendary.
Yeah, I'm so glad it didn't burn my PlayStation 5's fan like some people got.
Like the fight against Bahamut is one of the highlights of my year.
Oh god, and the soundtrack's amazing. The storyline is great. I mean, you guys, you picked it for best narrative, Elliot.
I fucking love the story. Like the character, like I love the plot line, the characters. It's all just so good.
I wasn't too enamored with the final villain of it. I feel like I felt like
Ultima is a bit bland, but all the side villains would make up for it, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, the side villains are amazing, particularly Clive and Joshua's mum.
Yeah, like their mother, Barnabas, Garudas, Holder Titans. So great.
I think one of the most heartbreaking scenes was is when everyone's having to sort of like leave, like that sequence where
everyone's saying goodbye. Yeah,
it's not just saying goodbye. It was when he has with the prince sort of has to say to his husband, to his essentially his boyfriend.
Yeah,
you need to go here, and he's it broke my heart because like these guys are essentially know they're never going to see each other again.
Mate, do you want to know something? When we saw Joshua's death, and he was going back through like the past of Clive seeing Joshua as a baby, I fucking cried.
By the
actual tears. I got so emotional during that bit.
Oh my god! So Reese, you picked Final Fantasy 16 for best RPG as well.
Yeah.
I remember at the time you said Final Fantasy 16 was really good. What brought it for you with 16?
Well, to go on top of what you guys were saying, I was also really liked the idea of building up the home base.
Yeah,
and seeing the characters throughout the storylines.
Oh yeah,
those were some of the good side quests I liked. Yeah, that being said, at one point I was only doing the side quests that gave you significant rewards. At one point, because I was getting bored of most of them being just.
Oh no, I did all the side quests.
Same.
I did like the one where the little girl sort of had to come to terms with the fact that essentially these people are humans too, and they can die.
Yeah, I found it. It did make me laugh a bit. Just like, congratulations, you made the little child cry. Congratulations, quest complete. I will say it is this. I think this has become my second favorite Final Fantasy, only beaten by 7 Remake.
7 Remake, I'd still say I will say I don't think it helped my opinion of this game that I saw the trailer for 7 Remake like a week or 2 weeks before it came out.
I think that was the case with everyone, honestly.
Because
with a lot of people.
Because 7 Rebirth looks unbelievably good.
I mean, as I said, 7 Remake is my favorite game. 7 Rebirth is just as good as it, which I expect this is going to be better. Then yeah, we have a real good one in our hands here.
God, I can't wait for 9 Remake to get revealed.
If it ever does.
It will.
Anyway,
can we talk
story?
Yeah, well, since we've done your...
I've already done my one.
Jedi Survivor.
Yes, I was super impressed with this story because it carries on from the original game Fallen Order, but also ups the stakes a lot. And surprisingly, it introduces the concepts of the High Republic that Disney created into the universe. I think was done actually really well.
So, in terms of...
Well, we actually have, for the first time in ages, we actually have a good Star Wars story.
So, in terms of the movies, where does this take place?
This is still, I believe, before A New Hope.
Right.
At this point.
Right, so we're between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope still.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it also takes place before Rogue One then.
Yeah.
So yeah, because that one literally takes place just before.
Yeah.
Can I ask actually something Star Wars is? I'm gonna have to spoil. We've already spoiled a lot of Final Fantasy 16. I'm gonna have to spoil a bit of Fallen Order for this one. Yeah. Is there anything without giving it away? Is there anything as amazing as a moment as when the sudden boss fight with Darth Vader that we weren't expecting?
There are some pretty epic moments, but I don't think any reached that high.
Because we all thought the game was over at that point, and then suddenly you heard the breathing in the background. You're like, "Oh my god, what?
Yeah.
It's no way."
It's kind of like, I guess, because I keep bringing it up so much. But I guess it's like when you see Darth Vader kicking ass in Rogue One.
Yeah.
Like, just sort of goes out of nowhere, and it just becomes the best scene in the entire thing.
Yeah.
How long did it take? Would you say now, have they fixed it now enough to extend that it's playable and it doesn't have some of those awful issues that it had when it first came out?
Yeah, it's definitely more playable because I was able to go back and get the platinum after the game bugs repeatedly. So it's working more now, but the PC port still isn't very good. And I would not recommend players play that version.
Right, so PlayStation 5 or Xbox.
Yeah.
I'll probably get the Xbox version at some point. Action game. Now, Elliot, you went for Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man.
And Reese, you went for Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
And I broke it with Hi-Fi Rush. Now, Hi-Fi Rush, I really liked the action gameplay in that one. There's a really good battle system there to work with the music.
I was a bit mixed on it because because I'm how I play hack and slashes, I always like button mash and swap between buttons is just what I'm used to. So having to time it is just a bit off to me. And again, I just prefer. Couldn't help but compare it to Metal Hellsinger, which I prefer. I think first-person shooters fits that gameplay style better than like a hack and slash does.
I know, but I like the fact it doesn't punish you though if you're off the beat. It gives you more. It just rewards you for getting on the beat.
Yeah, that's basically what Metal Hellsinger does. Like you hearing the lyrics in the songs are the rewards.
I would counteract that with Metal Hellsinger. If you don't hit the beat well enough, it does lower the song quality as you're going on. So there's a little bit of punishment for if you're not doing too well.
I think in that kind of game, punishment is warranted. Though, personally.
Also, though, we talked about narratives. I think the narrative in Hi-Fi Rush is pretty good. I would also make the argument that I think we didn't do my best narrative, actually. I've just realised. We'll come back to that in a minute.
I was thinking, wait, did we? Did we not?
We'll come back to that one in a minute, but I think the action gameplay works very well. I think the biggest issue I have with the action is a couple of the bosses are a little unfair on your first playthrough, particularly the final boss. The reason I will never 100% Hi-Fi Rush is one of the trophies is beat the final boss without taking a hit. No, thank you.
Oof.
But Spider-Man 2, though, the action gameplay in that is amazing.
It is very good. It's very fun. I knew Reese would pick it as well. Yeah.
Reese, would you agree with me on this one? They took the gameplay, the really good action from the first one and refined it.
Oh, definitely, yeah. They did remove some features of the combat, like the tool wheel has been reduced in size. But I think overall, what's in the game works extremely well.
I feel like they made up for the massive tool wheel though by adding in like all the powers that like now Peter has, not just Miles.
Yeah. But I also remember, to your point, Elliot, that I do think that doing that did reduce the joy in getting the new spider suits because you didn't get new powers from them. So
that's one of my biggest criticisms. Why I think this game is more on par with the first and better.
Oh my god, I'll never tire of the Spider Noir or the Beyond the Into the Spider-Verse suit.
They are great.
They look so good.
But shall we go to narrative? I was surprised no one picked Spider-Man 2 for narrative as well. I thought that would win one person's award.
Honestly, same.
But my pick was Master Detective Archives Rain Code.
I'm surprised. I love the narrative for that, and I'm surprised.
It's the detective game I've been waiting ages for. This is something all the cases were great. I love figuring them out.
Most of them. The third one was a bit mixed.
Third one's a bit of a mix. I'll give you that one, and it's kind of as a dumb solution with what it was this all along. I was like, oh really? But the other ones were so clever, and now it's. I do like the fact that I
love it. Also adds a level of tragedy as well into it because if you solve the case, the murderer dies.
Yeah. But one of the things I do like about it as well is they took an artistic what I thought was, and a lot of people thought was an artistic choice, and worked it into the plot. There is something that you're seeing throughout the entire game that doesn't have a payoff until the very final case.
Yeah, for people who are not playing it, I'm absolutely not going to spoil what Kai War's ultimate secret was, because when you reach that bit, holy shit!
Yeah, that changes everything. I do love the relationship as well between Yuta and Shinigami.
Yeah, you and Shinigami were great. You and everyone, all the method detectives were great. The character work was fantastic.
Yeah, I want more. I agree with most people that I don't necessarily want to go back to these characters per se, but I want more stories in this universe with the Master Detective organization.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I said in my review I would like to get another Danganronpa, and apparently they are going to be rebooting the series at some point. But they want to work on this game for a little bit. All the power to them. This game was fantastic. I cannot wait to see what other Master of Archives games they do next.
So I think it's time to move on to some of the bigger awards. All right, these are the before we get to the big one, these are the 4 other big ones. It's the console awards. So we're going to start with the award that I think only I do most years, because I don't know how much these guys have played of these.
I do have something for this one, actually.
Okay, best Xbox One / Series X and S exclusive.
The Not Starfield Award.
Elliot, I'm presuming then you gave your award to
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush for me as well.
Of course.
Best PS4 / PS5 exclusive.
The Last of Us Part 2 Remake Remaster Broken PC Port featuring Dante for Devil May Cry Award. I would love to put that. Now that's one of the times I would actually use an AI art generator to put that in to see what would come out. I think we all. No, actually, knowing Elliot, he could go either way. Do you mind if I save you till last, Elliot? Because I think you could go either way with this one. Sure.
Reese.
Spider-Man 2.
I thought so.
I went Spider-Man 2. Elliot, is it
Final Fantasy 16?
Yep. I wasn't sure. I thought, is he going 16 or is he going Spider-Man 2? Best Switch exclusive award.
The 14-hour Pokemon Tournament Monologue Award. If you've seen Calvin's streams, you would know.
Elliot.
Master Detective Archives Raincoat.
Reese.
Super Mario Wonder.
The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, you would have gone with that, yeah.
Best multi-platform game, so no exclusivity.
The Polyamorous Relationship Award.
Or the Girlfriend Award, if we want to go anime on it.
I would have gone with the 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you.
That's better. I want it tied to a much better anime. Reese. No, Elliot, sorry.
Elliot? Alan Wake 2.
Alan Wake 2? Reese?
Armored Core 6.
Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yeah. I was so close to giving it to Resident Evil 4.
So
like it was really between those two.
You've actually really thrown me off now, because I've went into completely predicting what your game of the year was going to be. I'm now not sure between two of them.
Oh.
We're now going what we are going to do is we are going to predict what we're going to do before we do our game awards is the other two are going to predict what they picked.
Right.
But let's talk about the one that had the most agreement on it, Hi-Fi Rush.
You say that because there's only 2 of us who played it.
Well, for the record, I did play every single Xbox console exclusive.
I just picked Hi-Fi Rush because it's the only one I really played aside from Redfall, and that's like the only one I really know anything good about.
And you did not,
aside from maybe Forza.
Okay, I'll say Forza. If I was to order them in how good they were, it's Forza, Starfield, Hi-Fi Rush.
And Redfall's not even in there.
Not even close. I'd even say I liked Minecraft Legends more than.
I'm surprised you put Forza above Starfield. It's like Starfield above Forza, honestly.
I think Forza's. Do you know what it is? You ever played that one of those games and you think you went a bit too far towards realism?
Yeah, that was Forza.
That's Forza for me. It's like you sucked a bit of the fun out of this one because it's like I can't just do a race now. Any race, because it's so realistic, it's going to be at least 20 minutes if long. So it's not it's very much I've got to make
I was thinking you were meaning more with like mechanics and like sort of grip and whatnot.
It's stuff.
In which case, if that is the case, remind me to not let you play Grid.
No, it's a case of there's enough accessibility features in that you can deal with that if that's an issue. My issue was the fact of I've got to really think about when I want to play this. But can I add to another Hi-Fi Rush though? What a game! It was so well put together.
It's sort of a surprising shadow drop, really.
I wonder if I don't think the Xbox can ever do this again now with this franchise, and I think they want Tango Gameworks might do something else with this franchise, considering how successful it is. And let's face it, Hi-Fi Rush was more successful than Starfield for Xbox this year, with the only exception being in monetary gain because Starfield made more money. But Hi-Fi Rush in every other regard, it got more Game Award nominations, it got more higher Metacritic score, it got more acclaim, it's got better Steam reviews. In every sense, Hi-Fi Rush was their most successful game in years.
And also, don't forget, development costs will be a lot lower as well.
Yeah,
Starfield.
Yeah, it's in fact to such an extent when Jeff Grubb had to had to essentially re-explain himself when loads of people misunderstood what he was on about when he was talking about the game. Because people thought he was slagging the game, and he said, "No, I'm not slagging the game. I'm just saying." It didn't make as much money as Xbox were hoping for, but they're not disappointed in it because it's got a success in every other regard.
Yeah.
For God, it really, that was the point where I kind of went, I'm really going to start clicking on, I'm actually going to start waiting for follow-up reports to come before I believe just any article I read on Twitter. Because
I mean, you should know it's Twitter. You should know that already.
Yeah, but that was the final straw. It was like I'm not going to take these headlines anymore and as just gospel, because a lot of people did, and I think that did a lot of damage to the Xbox brand unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to the PS5 games? We'll save Spider-Man for the next one because. I want to talk a bit more about Final Fantasy 16, actually. Elliot,
were you thinking I might have gone with Spider-Man at one point?
I thought there was a possibility you were going to go with Spider-Man over Final Fantasy 16.
Nah, there was no chance. 16 was fantastic.
It really was just a choice between 16 and Spider-Man 2 this year for this category. Like, there wasn't...
Pretty much was, yeah.
I can't think of another PlayStation exclusive that could have taken it.
Yeah.
But here's what I want to know. But in terms of Final Fantasy 16, what for you drew it over Spider-Man 2, Elliot?
Story mostly. It was the story. I thought the presentation was a bit better. It was the game that gripped me more than any other game that came out this year. Spider-Man 2 does have a bit more complex combat, but I don't know. I just found 16 to just be that much better, really.
I can get what you mean with that one. For me, though, Spider-Man 2 was such a well put together game, and it was so fun to try and platinum that one.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Spider-Man was also fantastic in its own right.
What, Reese? Do you mind if I ask then you what put Spider-Man 2 over Final Fantasy 16 for you?
Well, what really came down to it for me was just the enjoyment of feeling like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And it's just how well the game portrays that.
Yeah, I mean, the game that one does it, like the web suit alone just does it, improves traversal so much more.
I also like the fact that... Go ahead, Reese.
And also fixed one of the biggest complaints from the original game. They made Mary Jane fun to play as.
Oh, absolutely.
Finally. About damn time.
But they also, I think another thing that I will say is a benefit with Spider-Man 2 is they actually someone finally realized Venom makes a better villain than he does an anti-hero.
Yeah.
I've never gotten why people want to make Venom an anti-hero. He doesn't work as an anti-hero.
I mean, if the rumors are true and we are getting a Venom game, we could be seeing him as an anti-hero.
Well, again, the DLC did they are alluding to doing something with without spoiling it, the guy who's behind the fire cult mission.
Yeah.
He's that'll be interesting considering who he turned out to be.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to be with the Venom game or if that's going to be Spider-Man 3, though.
Yeah, I feel really bad, though, for I feel really bad for Insomniac having all their shit leaked online like that.
Yeah, like that's genuinely awful.
Like people have said, a lot of people have said online, you're only calling it bad because it's Insomniac and you like Insomniac. Whenever companies have had it, you've been like, ooh, what are we going to see? It's like, no, I didn't like it when it happened to Capcom.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
No.
I just want to. I'm happy to know what some of these things are coming, but that wasn't on the onus for them to do that. It was on.
I didn't even see what was happening. I just don't want to know.
Yeah, no.
and it was also worse as well because they leaked a lot of personal information like passport scans and everything.
Yeah.
But I will say though, I try to avoid it out of respect for Insomniac. I try to avoid the leaks as much as possible. Yeah. But I did end up seeing some of the leaked footage of Wolverine.
I saw like a bit of that. It was unavoidable. More than Xbox fans going, haha, look, the game looks bad. It's just like, it's early development.
One, it's early development, and two, what are you on about? This game, that actually made me really excited for Wolverine. It looks so good.
Yeah.
I didn't see like any of the gameplay, just saw like pictures of the character models.
Yeah, because the people complaining saying it looked bad. Just compare GTA 6 and those leaks to the teaser trailer we got.
Yeah, seriously, I wish game developers would start doing this a little more, maybe, or in retrospectively showing us back the footage after it's done. I'd like to see.
Yeah, I wish game developers would get hacked and leaked more often. That would just be so poggers, guys.
What I mean is when the game is done, we get these like development diaries of when we were at this stage. This is what the game looked like, and this is what it looks like now. So we get an idea of what.
Yeah. Because maybe I don't know, like occasional updates like that. I follow some people who like do like weekly updates for like their projects. I feel like that would be really cool.
Best multi-platform game. I want to move on to that one because that was the most surprising for me in some regards. Reese, you picked Armored Core 6.
Yep.
Elliot picked Alan Wake 2, and I decided to pick a game not beginning with the letter A. And I went for Resident Evil 4 remake, and it was very close for you, Elliot, wasn't it? For Resident Evil 4 remake.
It was really close. Yeah, like both games are just really good. For the longest time, it was Resident Evil 4, but Alan Wake just ups it a little bit.
Yeah, Alan Wake 2, very well done experimental game. Like that's what surprised me about how experimental it was.
Yeah, it was. It was Remedy's most ambitious game, and it could have gone wrong. Yeah. Like it really could have gone wrong, but the fact that it ended up being as good as it did really makes me happy.
I get the sense that people at Remedy said, right, we can't just do another Alan Wake game. We need to justify why this franchise is coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I think because of how much they've done, they become a lot more ambitious with like Control and Quantum Break, that they thought, okay, we need to do something big for this game. And it makes me genuinely surprised it's their first ever survival horror game because they nailed it.
Reese, you haven't played Alan Wake 2 yet, have you?
No, I've not.
I would say, if you know the storyline because you've watched the stream, just skip to Alan Wake 2 because I think Alan Wake, just get the story of Alan Wake 1 and then play the game of Alan Wake 2 because the gameplay is improved significantly.
You will. There is a bit of Control in there as well because the FBC shows up in it.
Yeah, again, they want to keep the whole everything in every Remedy game ties together in some fashion. Yeah,
making the Remedy cinematic universe, and it's working. They're actually doing a really good job with it.
How are they working Max Payne into it then?
Maybe I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Bullet Time will be like Max Payne is possessed by Mr. Scratch or something like that.
Because they haven't confirmed Max Payne is in this universe as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, basically, because Alex Casey in the game is pretty much Max Payne, because he has the voice and it's Sam Lake again, using his likeness for the character.
If I want to add something as well, Reese, Armored Core 6, I'm going to add that one now in the mix.
Yeah.
Yes. So what impressed me about that is that the multiplayer is completely cross-platform.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, which is what tips over the edge for me. So if your friend's on Xbox or PC, you can fight each other in PvP.
What about the PlayStation version?
Yeah, it's all completely cross-platform.
Oh, sweet. So do you what? So obviously you create accounts and all that to facilitate that business, but
Yeah.
In terms of the single player experience, how good is Armored Core 6?
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. In my opinion, it's the best Armored Core game we've ever got.
I was going to ask if you thought that.
Yeah, just beating Armored Core 4. But yeah, the bosses, like, yeah, you guys see in the group chat when I shared these All the Wish videos of putting Armored Core models into Elden Ring. It's on the same engine. And the bosses are bigger than the entire map of Elden Ring.
Which is just hilarious.
It's so stunning what they've managed to do there. I will say, Armored Core 6 it's not a game I enjoy playing because I find the difficulty a bit too much, but it's a game I heavily respect.
Yeah,
it's a game I enjoyed playing, and I'm disappointed in myself that I didn't go back to.
I will
just because I really liked it, the tutorial boss alone.
I'd highly suggest it because I beat it 3 times to get the platinum. And it was just amazing.
Yeah, no, that's a great platinum trophy for your case, Reese.
Yeah. I'm surprised because you said originally you weren't going to because one of them was the trophies were just so difficult.
Yeah, it was because of how unfair some of the bosses are.
Yeah,
because you need to S rank every mission in the game, and some of those bosses are pretty much like down to right down to the wire.
Do you mind if I move it on?
Yeah, Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4, because it stunned me how much I enjoyed that.
That is like that. I'm saying that's the most fun I've had with a game all year.
Resident Evil 4 was so well put together. It was so well. Graphically, it looks amazing. It's one of the best uses of the RE engine. It managed to do enough new and old for the fans. The only complaint I have. No Salazar mech.
Yeah.
Aren't they moving on actually from the RE engine for like at some point?
I think they are making an RE2 engine essentially.
How the hell is that going to look then? Because RE engine already looks fantastic,
and it's very versatile with their games. I imagine though, judging from the look of it, I reckon there might be the engine they're using for Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah.
Can I actually ask on this?
Oh boy, Devil May Cry 6 is going to look great.
But I'm about to say, imagine a Devil May Cry game in the RE engine. But
please give us Devil May Cry 6. It's been 5 years.
So, incidentally, with Capcom, also with that whole business, I think Resident Evil 4 as well. It surprised me how challenging it was because Resident Evil 4, the original, is not the most challenging game. But it's this one did actually makes you think about it. Luckily, they didn't make Ashley.
Might just be because you're bad.
Also, Ashley.
I've seen the live streams, Calvin.
Ashley is not as vulnerable as she was before. Thank fuck for that.
Actually, all the characters actually even better than the original.
Yeah, no, I also like the fact they actually decided to give Ashley a story arc this time.
Oh, they gave Luis a story arc.
Yeah, he's the best part.
And this was one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was like, please change the storyline. Please make it so he lives this time. No. Oh. Now, the one that's surprised...
It's interesting on what they're going to do with Resident Evil 5 remake if they decide to do that, because they seem like they went for a different ending this time.
Yeah, they've essentially retconned most of the series, so I'm wondering, are there 2 timelines happening now in Resident Evil? Although that being said... Before you do anything with Resident Evil 5, please make a Code Veronica remake.
Oh, for love of God, please! That's all I want. Or at the very least, make Resident Evil 1 in this style.
That would be interesting as well.
I would love that. I would love to play through like the Spencer Manor, like in the same style as we did with Resident Evil 2.
Here's the one that surprised me though. Switch exclusive. We all went different on this one.
Yeah.
So, Reese, you went for
Super Mario Wonder.
Super Mario Wonder, which I'm glad you went for it because that was an amazing game.
Yeah, I'm happy at least someone went for it.
Yeah.
It's very well put together. The level design is fantastic. It graphically looks amazing.
Yeah.
I like the new voice actor for Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, they do a solid job.
Yeah.
Also, it's just a fun game. It's like it feels like they looked at the new Super Mario Brothers games, and said, "Right, we need to proper evolve this."
Yeah. How can we improve it? Drugs.
Yeah, because you got the Wonder Seeds now, which add so much.
Panic. Like it's so much fun. Like seeing how they change every level. As you think, it's every level it does it within.
Yeah.
What was that one? The pumpkin karaoke dance party one. That was amazing.
Best one. My favorite one is still the piranha sinking one.
Oh, the piranha sinking one. Yeah. That was so awesome.
That's like one of my highlights of the year.
The one I liked as well was the quiz one. I was like, okay, what am I doing here? Wait, I'm doing a quiz? Okay. Can I also add to them? I
feel bad for anyone who's only played Sonic. Just like, fuck, I don't know anything about Mario.
Can I? Okay, Elliot.
That's a Toadette.
Let's talk about your favorite, Master Detective Archives Raincode. Very good game.
It was so good, dude. Like, such an amazing fun Danganronpa.
Yeah, and it's also, they did a brilliant job with the world, the characters, the gameplay as well. It's very good detective gameplay.
Yeah, like the entire thing is basically, it took a lot of what Danganronpa did and expanded on it. Even now I'm talking about I'm going on about Danganronpa constantly.
But I think it's I really enjoyed this game. I think it did a brilliant job with what they had to work with.
The story was great. The presentation was nearly put the music in for best soundtrack.
Yeah, that main theme is going to be in my head for ages. That bum 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 bum.
It's still in my head, honestly.
I picked Tears of the Kingdom for my pick, and
I'm surprised you didn't like put it in for anything else.
Yeah, that surprised me when I was making the list, but I felt like this was the one it most justified being in. Tears of the Kingdom is a phenomenal experience. Like the adventure that comes with it, just from adding the sky and the depths, just excel. The only complaint I have with Tears of the Kingdom is with the final boss, and even then, it's just because of the healing aspect.
My main complaint with it again is it feels like it takes too much from Breath of the Wild, with not that much deviation. Like, all the plot beats, all the side quests, it just feels like it's there because that's what Breath of the Wild did.
Yeah, but I would say the reason I really like it is because it felt like it improved on that aspect of Breath of the Wild. Not to the extent that I would never play Breath of the Wild again. I would so play Breath of the Wild again, but I really enjoyed my time with...
I mean, to compare it to another direct sequel, Ocarina of Time to Majora's Mask.
Yeah, Majora's Mask definitely did a lot more new.
Majora's Mask is so much different. And that was a last-minute addition to 64. Like, the whole 3-day thing was due to time constraints.
Before we move to the final award, do you mind if I ask Reese, why did you pick Mario Wonder over Tears of the Kingdom?
Well, like Ali was saying, you just rehashed so much, whereas Tears of the Kingdom, anyway, compared to Super Mario Wonder, it was just like a breath of fresh air for the franchise, and it felt like a big step forwards.
Right, I see what you mean.
Whereas Tears of the Kingdom felt like a small step forwards.
But that being said, I mean, the interesting thing is Eiji Aonuma has said Tears of the Kingdom is going to be the last one in this Hyrule. We are moving on and doing something different next time. So I'm interested to see what they come up with next, but take your time, Aonuma.
I do agree with like what a lot of people say that this style of Zelda isn't going to be sustainable for like long into the future. Like we can need a balance of this and like the traditional Ocarina of Time style.
Do you know what? I'm going to agree with you depending on what the next Zelda does. Like the next one could come up with some new spin on this that actually could really give this thing this formula a little more life. But I agree. If there's not enough new in the next one, they might want to start balancing it with the Ocarina formula.
Yeah, but at the very least, like do new things aside from like the same shrines, looking through memories and all that stuff again.
Yeah, but I think they need to do something new with the next one. I'll be interested. Also, with the next one, give Link a voice actor already because.
Nah, keep it silent. Well, we've seen this. We've seen the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. We've seen the cutscenes from Philips CDI. Keep his mouth zipped.
But we've also read the manga where he gets a great character arcs in him with interactions. especially the Twilight Princess manga. That's one of my favorite versions of Link. But
Actually, it's something that kind of funny that happened a bit. I was once told off by, I think, someone whoever was running the Akira Himekawa Facebook page, because they were showing like a still from these Twilight Princess manga. I just went, look, it's Sif. And they just replied going, what is Sif? I went, it's a Dark Souls reference. He said, we have no relation to Dark Souls. I was just like, okay, it's just a joke. It's just a joke, guys.
Remind me not to join that group. I will. Can I? One idea I did have for the live action Zelda.
That was from the official Facebook account as well. That was like from whoever was running the Akira Himekawa Facebook account.
One idea I did.
Just found funny.
Yeah, one idea I did have for the live action movie, if they wanted to keep Link silent, is
it probably won't.
Is have him communicate only in sign language, like he can't speak, but communicate through sign language. I think that would be a very interesting angle on the character.
Well, just make him repeat his own name like he's a Pokemon.
Okay, it's time for the big one. Game of the Year. We're going to have 5 nominees, and we're going to pick a winner, and the other 2 are going to predict.
The Infinite Rocket Launcher Award.
So, Game of the Year. We're going to start with Elliot. What
you said we were going to guess, weren't we? What everyone else picked.
Once we get the nominees out of the way, we're going to pick what they voted for.
Okay.
So, Elliot, what are your 5 nominees for Game of the Year?
Alan, Final Fantasy 16, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Master Detective Archives Raincoat, and Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Elliot, could you repeat that because you cut out a bit briefly there?
Alan Wake 2, Final Fantasy 16, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Master Detective Archives Raincoat, and Resident Evil 4.
Right, Reese, what are you predicting? Which way did he go?
I'm going to go Alan Wake 2.
He might pull a rug at the last minute and give it to Resident Evil 4, but I think he picked Alan Wake 2.
Alan Wake 2.
Alan Wake 2 is his Game of the Year. Reese, let's move on to your one then.
Okay, so my 5 are RoboCop, Jedi Survivor, Final Fantasy 16, Spider-Man 2, and Armored Core 6.
I think he picked Armored Core 6.
I'm saying Armored Core 6.
Okay, I picked Jedi Survivor.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I was thinking either that or Marvel Spider-Man. Wow.
Did not see that coming. Okay, my 5 are Hi-Fi Rush, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Master Detective Archive Operation Raincode, Resident Evil 4, and Spider-Man 2.
I'm going to say Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, that's what I was leaning towards.
It was a close call between 2 of them, but I picked The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Am I really that predictable? I was the only one who got sussed out.
I was thinking at the last minute I was going to pull it away and think, no, he probably gave it to Resident Evil 4. But
I was thinking you were going to assume I picked Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Can I say Hi-Fi Rush was... I was so close to picking it, but...
It was going to be either that or Tears of the Kingdom. I thought you would pick.
Tears of the Kingdom... The reason I picked Tears of the Kingdom over Hi-Fi Rush was... Tears of the Kingdom gave me more of the... How do I put this? The fizz. You know, that you just feel it.
Yeah.
Moment. Whereas I also think a couple of the boss fights annoyed me in Hi-Fi Rush, whereas only one boss annoyed me in Tears of the Kingdom. I will admit the breakable weapons are not... I'm getting a bit sick of them, but I would say... But it didn't bother me as much as you guys.
Yeah.
But I've stated how much I love the world, I love the design, I love the sense of adventure, I loved looking out for everything. It was such a good month playing it.
Again, for me, it was only slightly better than Breath of the Wild, and doesn't really surpass any game aside from that.
Same.
Can I? I'm going to go to Elliot one next. Why Alan Wake 2 was your game of the year?
So, this could have gone between 3 games for the longest. It was between 3 games for the longest time. Alan Wake 2, Final Fantasy 16, and Resident Evil 4. Final Fantasy 16 was a story that gripped me the most of this year. Resident Evil 4 was the most fun I had with a game. Alan Wake 2 does both of these, takes both of these elements, but does its own. But like, it's also the experimentation, how great the characters were, as I said, all of this could have failed spectacularly, and Remedy pulled it through. It was just such a well thought out, well polished game that surpassed the original, which was already one of my favorite games of all time. It's made me really interested to see where Remedy goes next. Made me instantly like big fan of Sam Lake. I cannot see it giving it anything less than Game of the Year. It was just fantastic in every way.
I think I would agree with you. I've loved my time playing it. It didn't make my top 5 because I haven't finished it yet, so you could say retroactively it might make my top 5 later, but I wanted to finish it before I made a full judgment on it.
Yeah.
But I'd say in gameplay wise, I think it improves on the first one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like it improves on the first game in every way, in my opinion.
Yeah. Reese, you surprised all of us. Jedi Survivor out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was going between this and Spider-Man.
Why wasn't this best multiplayer for you then?
Because the PC port was atrocious and still is.
Yeah, that's a point. Yeah.
No, it could recommended it.
Yeah.
Right, I see. So you're giving it overall because if you take those versions, it is the best game of the year. But you couldn't give it best multiplayer because the PC version was terrible.
That's right.
So what made Jedi Survivor your game of the year?
I was just super impressed how it took everything great from the original game and pushed it forwards. So you got new characters, new stances for your sabers, new weapons that aren't exclusively lightsabers, bigger environments, detailed puzzles. It just amped everything up a notch.
That's all. I mean, I'm gonna have to proper sit down with it now. You've said that. I mean, it's annoying because I really wanted to play the Phoenix Wright collection this month, and you've now ruined that.
You're welcome.
Meanwhile, I still have to beat Yakuza Like a Dragon and Final Fantasy VII before those games come out. So I can't really play that yet.
But I will say, got the good selection of games. I think between the 5.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because, incidentally, I think the only 2 that repeated on everyone's list was Resident Evil and Spider-Man.
And Armored Core for me.
No, I'm saying the only ones that repeated...
And Final Fantasy for me.
I'm saying the only ones that repeated across everyone's lists was Resident Evil and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I found that very interesting. I'm more surprised people were more surprised I put Master Detective Archives on my top 5. But
I'm surprised you picked it for best story.
No, I love the story in that.
I'm surprised Reese put RoboCop in his top 5.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
It's just funny. I was not expecting that at all.
I'd highly recommend it because it's also done in the Unreal 5 engine, so it looks amazing. Plays great. You pretty much play as RoboCop would, because you're not just a mass murdering machine. You're a police officer who has to solve crimes and disputes.
So. Okay, before we close out...
In other words, ladies and gentlemen, we finally have a good crackdown.
So,
yeah, pretty much.
Minus the Terry Crews.
Before we wrap this thing up, I want to ask you guys... it's quite hard this year because... to say this year, but because we're going to have a new Nintendo console at the end of the year...
Allegedly.
I'm going to say very strong allegedly, but what is the game of the games that are announced so far? What are you really excited for in 2024? Sorry.
Can I pick multiple or is it just one?
Oh no, we're going multiple with this one.
Okay, main 3. I'm going to put my 3 ones I mentioned many times before: Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Persona 3. And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
7 Rebirth I'd put on mine. Metaphor ReFantazio I'd put on my list.
That one's really good.
I'm actually, and the one I really want to put on the list, even though I'm not entirely convinced it's coming out this year, Hollow Knight Silksong.
Cal, you've been saying that for the past 5 years.
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, but as I say, I really thought it was going to come out last year. It obviously didn't. Surely this year. Surely it's done now.
Who knows? It could be a launch title for the next Nintendo console.
That would be I'd be concerned if they did that because they're supposed to have an Xbox marketing deal with it at the minute because of the Game Pass deal. Also, Hades 2. I wouldn't want to say that one's definitely coming out this year, but
no, it could be early access, but not before release.
Oh, wait, another big one that we don't know the release date for, but we know it's coming out next year. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Yeah, that one's going to be excellent. And it just got rated by the ERSB, so it looks like it's further along than we thought.
Yeah, one game out is Dragon's Dogma 2.
That one.
Right. That one's.
Can I add also to the mix? Bit of a weird one, but the PlayStation, a recent PlayStation blog last night suggested these games are coming out this year. Silent Hill 2,
and
Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Metal Gear.
Yeah, those two. I'm very excited, especially when I saw the gameplay of Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Oh, I am very excited for Silent Hill 2.
Oh yeah, the Blooper team do not fuck this up.
Yeah,
because
the
Silent Hill community desperately needs a win.
I'll give it this: Alan Wake 2 has become my favorite horror game. You guys have something to beat.
I don't. I mean, it does feel like interesting. I feel like so many good releases came out in 2023 that 2024 might end up becoming like a stopgap to get us to 25 when we got things like Monster Hunter Wilds and GTA 6.
Yeah, the director of Monster Hunter Wilds did a YouTube video a few hours ago saying we're going to get a lot more information in the summer of 2024 about it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I reckon that we'll start, and then we're going to slowly see those videos like, here's what Rathalos looks like in this one. Here's a returning monster from an obscure game that only Reese remembers.
Hey, like the one Monster Hunter game done by From Software.
Oh yes, of course. Forgot about that. Jesus.
Elden Ring DLC. That might be coming out next year.
Yeah.
I think as well. There's. I wouldn't be surprised if we got some Spider-Man 2 DLC.
Oh, I know for a fact we're getting Alan Wake 2 DLC.
Oh yeah, they are. That's coming.
Yeah, because about Spider-Man 2, the original game got 3 sets of DLC. Miles got 0.
Also, new.
Fairness and Miles was more of a side game than full game, so. I'm certain we're gonna get DLC for Spider-Man.
Also, new Spirit Battles coming to Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Woo!
What else is? That's the.
Rise of Ronin's one I'm interested in.
That one looks alright. One that's been made by Vanillaware and published by Atlas. Unicorn Overlord.
Oh yeah.
That looks quite.
I pre-ordered it, but I don't know if I'm gonna play it. If I'm gonna play much of it.
An RPG I'm very excited for. Euden Chronicles.
Oh yeah.
The spiritual successor to Suikoden.
I said it before, I'll say it again. Weeb.
We also have the game Ren's very excited for, which is Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2.
Oh yeah, Space Marine. That's gonna be cool.
Yep, that's out September, I think.
Yeah, I think that's September.
Yeah. One I'm still waiting for a release for is a Sandland. That Akira Toriyama one.
Yeah, that does look like it's going to come out this year.
Fingers crossed we get something on Dragon Quest 12. Fingers crossed we get something on Dragon Quest 12, please. I've been saying this for 5 years. Come on.
No, I'm with Elliot. I think Square Enix has been quiet enough. They have to give us some information now. I'm not necessarily on, maybe a little bit on 12, but they don't need to go nuts on 12 because I think that's a bit off. It's not coming out next year.
Oh, yeah. I hope so.
Well, Elliot,
it's been 7 years since the last one.
Elliot, though, if you're Square Enix, you've got a Final Fantasy coming out, a major Final Fantasy coming out in the year. Do you want to then add a Dragon Quest at the end of it? Yeah,
they did that with Final Fantasy 16.
Oh yeah.
Just before that came out, Final Fantasy 7's coming out as well.
Here's the thing though. I reckon
at the very least, I want an announcement.
Yeah, I'm the same with Final Fantasy 9 remake. I'd like them to announce it this year. Here's the thing though.
And most important of all, Gollum 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give us Gollum 2. Give us the nasally sounding boy back.
Also,
it's a life scenario if you didn't fall in the lava.
Also, what I've had to do now on the internet.
Joke's on you, Gollum becomes Sauron.
What I have to do on the internet now, because of Rebirth coming out in like a month, I am pretending I'm not a Final Fantasy fan, so I don't get random video recommendations and stuff like that. Like, no, I don't really play much Final Fantasy. Nope.
No. Ignore my Zidane body pillow.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
I ignore my friend Steiner body pillow.
Oh dear. So we'll be back. We're back with Anime Amigos on the 19th for our Anime of the Year. I'm dead excited for that one.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
I've been catching up on all the shows.
Same.
By the way, Reese, thank you for picking Dr. Stone, because
that was me.
That was Elliot.
That was me, you idiot.
I've got it the wrong way around. I thought you picked Tokyo Revengers.
No, he picked Tokyo Revengers. I picked Dr. Stone.
Then this goes to you, Elliot. Thank you for being Dr. Stone, because you've got me right back into it in a big way.
I'm the big Dr. Stone fan of the lot. Fuck you.
Have you been reading the manga?
No.
I am now getting ahead of you then. I will spoil nothing, don't worry. But we'll see you back later this year. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.